Test. Test. All right, welcome everybody. It's just a minute after 6. My goal is to start at 6. My name is Ron Medeiros. I'm a teacher at Central. I've been there 13 years. I'm Department Chair of Social Studies, and we have a couple of timekeepers, Jackie and Andrea down there, who will keep track of the time and help us move things along. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight to support the selection of, or the potential selection of the new board members. Hey, obviously there's a lot of things going on, so appreciate your time. This was a group effort by a committee that was a volunteer committee from the teachers, and there was a lot of other teacher input into what happened or what is going to happen today. We'd like to ask that nobody that you hold any applause or anything like that, put your phones on silent so we can fully hear what the candidates have to say. In just a moment, we will hear opening statements from each of the candidates, but first it should be noted that 2 of the candidates that are listed on the ballot are missing this evening. Debbie Ellett declined to participate in this debate, and Yolanda Tavares noted that she was going to be out of town, so therefore she could not attend either. Okay, we're going to have a format with 4 different segments of important issues that we'd like to have discussed. Each candidate will have a minimum of 2 opportunities to respond to questions. The first question, a maximum of 2 minutes, which will be have time right here, and then 1 minute for the following question and that type of thing. And if we have time for follow-ups and such, then we can certainly do that. Okay, so at this time, the purpose of this event is to have the candidates be able to introduce themselves to the community and for possibly the ECSTA to endorse up to 3 candidates for the open seats. Okay, so with all that being said, I'd like to open it up, and so we will hear from our first candidate, Mr. Demian Rodilis.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Demian Rodilis. I'd like to... Hello? I would like to first take this opportunity to thank the Central Union High School Teachers Association for organizing this forum and inviting me to speak. It's an honor to be here as a candidate for Central Union High School Board. I'm running because I genuinely care about our children and the future. Both the students currently in our schools and the ones that will walk through these doors in the years to come. This isn't just an abstract issue for me, it's personal. I have young children that will one day go to the high school or one of the high schools in the district. So I do have skin in this game. Their success and the success of all of the students here and the ones to come is directly tied to the choices we make in this community. In addition to being a father, I have also served and have the privilege of serving as the head boys varsity coach at Central Union High School for many years. During that time, I worked closely with the student athletes, and I'm proud to say that I was able to help many of them secure scholarships, which opened up doors to their future. That hands-on experience Wow, 30 seconds. The hands-on experience with the youth showed me the challenges that athletes and student athletes go through. But with the support from this community, you can see just how far they can achieve things. Beyond my role as a coach, I'm also a successful business owner. I've run 2 companies for 16 years. I have the knowledge and experience to read profit and loss statements. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have incumbent Eric Rodriguez.
Good evening. 2020 I was the parent that wanted to stand up for my family and my 3 daughters that were attending Central at the time. I felt our district was struggling with my family had found priorities, which was school safety, social emotional wellness, and transparency. Still all relevant topics today. I got these adequacy issues from visiting our school sites in my role as a parent, in my role as a police officer in North Central, and my current role as a child welfare social worker. So if re-elected, I'll continue leveraging my unique perspective to continue making a meaningful difference in our school district. I was supportive and proactive in ensuring that our children return to school after the COVID lockdown with reasonable safety precautions, policy, and procedures. Free Chromebooks, free meals, we made sure that happened. I was also vocal for the learning loss students. We implemented the App Promise House in the King's Academy. I was active in my school safety initiative, which we combined with maintenance, which we opened the door for a new career opportunity for operations and safety supervisor. Maria and I were advocates for transparent governance, community engagement, marketing, which we collaborated with the school district, and we got a public information and engagement officer. New careers. So my goal is to continue to be the parent's voice and ensure everyone has a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Next we have Beatriz Mora. Beatriz? Okay, sorry.
Can you hear me now? B is good. I don't think anybody knows that I'm Beatriz. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your kind invitation. I'm B. Mora, happy retiree for almost 3 years. I worked for Central Union High School District for over 27 years. I started working in the cafeteria for 4.5 hours back in '94. Then I became security guard for 10 years. In 2006, I went to the transportation department as a school bus driver, mechanic helper, believe it or not, until retirement, but still substituting whenever the department needs me. I have an AAS in Administration of Justice, Law Enforcement from IBC, but more proudly, I'm a Central alumni. So are my 2 daughters and my son. I have 8 grandkids, 1 on the way in November, so that will make number 9. And 2 of my grandkids graduated from Central. And hopefully in maybe 3 years, I'll have another grandson coming into Central too. 2 have graduated from Central and 2 from Imperial. For many years, I have been involved volunteering in my community. At first, started at church, then in Heber, PTA, then volunteered at Central, band driving our kids, our athletes, or wherever I was needed. Since 2003-04, I have served as a volunteer with our California School Employees Association for 20 years, representing our classified employee, bus driver, mechanics, custodians, office staff, instructional attendants, and many other positions where our members work at our school district. I have served as an appointed leader or elected to represent our members valley-wide and by area, which covers San Diego and Imperial Valley. And as an elected area K director, I was a board member at a state level representing over 250,000 school employees. Now as a retiree, I'm elected as a district director, now representing Imperial Valley.
All right, thank you so much. Next we have Jacob Rodriguez.
Hello everybody, and thank you for coming out tonight, the distance. Thank you to the El Centro Secondary School Teachers Association for putting this on. I know this is the first one like this in recent memory, and it's perfect timing because the stakes are so high. So my name is Jacob Rodriguez, and I am El Centro resident. I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. I previously was an educator, not a teacher, at the Desert Museum in Ocotillo, and there I traveled across the county giving lessons and activities to students in our unincorporated towns about our deserts and so on, and our local history. But also there I was able to see firsthand how the consequences of when our systems fail our children. We taught also weekly at juvenile hall, so that left a major impression in my mind that a lot of it was preventable, not all of it, but a lot of it was preventable, them being there. And that's why I'm committed to expanding CTE pathways, and I'm a big proponent of confidence building extracurriculars, whether it be sports, debate, speech, or mock trial. For me, it was mock trial, so that holds a special place in my heart, and trying to make sure that once our students become adults, that they can stand on their 2 feet confidently, and that they can secure a family, sustaining job, and also have time for enjoying their lives, which I think is often disregarded. So I want you to know that I'm a proud product of this district, and I'm ready to use my professional experiences and understanding of the law and government institutions, which I'm now able to flex through my day job as an organizer in the Lithium Valley spheres. So, with one objective in mind, how can we set our students and employees up for success before it will be my guiding vision. And thank you, and I look forward to any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Next and finally, we have incumbent Maria Pinedo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Muy buenas tardes. Honorable fellow board members, candidates, teachers, staff, students, and community. My name is Maria Peinado, and I'm seeking re-election to the Central Union High School District Board of Trustees. I'm an immigrant, bilingual, and first-generation college graduate. As an Imperial Valley native, I understand the unique needs of our students and working families. As a parent of a child that faced many academic challenges, I am a strong believer in the positive impact of music in the performing arts. I have a bachelor's from the University of California, San Diego, a master's in public administration from San Diego State University, and I'm pursuing a doctorate degree to effectively lead efforts for improved student outcomes and educational transformation. Professionally, I'm a program manager with Catalyst of San Diego and Imperial Counties. I am immensely proud of our district's achievements, from navigating the COVID-19 pandemic with masking and vaccination requirements to returning to in-person learning safely with a focus on mental and emotional wellness. This year, our district signed a historic agreement with San Diego State University in Imperial Valley, the only four-year university in our region, to assure that the students have a direct college pathway without having to leave our community. We partnered with the Emmy-nominated Mariachi Sol de Mexico de Jose Hernandez to offer mariachi music workshops, and with the Court of Appeals to bring judicial education to our students. These partnerships to support our youth is the important work I want to continue. I know that our students with special needs can attend college with the right support and resources. One of the biggest responsibilities we have as a board is to set the tone for the district. We have fostered this culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion so that all our students feel valued and seen so they reach the fullest potential. I would be honored to earn your vote November 5th. I ask for it with gratitude and humility. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the candidates for their introductions. As I mentioned, we have 4 segments of different subject matter. The first subject matter will be on school funding. As decisions by the school board regarding money management and other resource allocations are the most impactful to all stakeholders in our district, we begin with this segment. Question number 1 will go to Eric Rodriguez. Considering the fact that our district houses schools in the neighborhoods with varying socioeconomic statuses, how will you address and prioritize budget allocation to ensure equitable funding across all school sites? You have 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you. So our district does receive additional funds for being, unfortunately, in one of the most low economically disadvantaged regions in the state. I believe we get about 15 million extra because of that. Our district funding will continue to decline based on our enrollment trend, the cost of living, birth rates, the exodus of the population. I feel that we need to be realistic, honest, and transparent with our unions, with our parents, our community, on the upcoming shortfalls. It's going to affect us all. And we all need to really look in the mirror and decide what our priorities are going to be. Working together, even though at times it's difficult, especially unfortunately during negotiation times, we need to work together, realistic, compromising, and utilize data-driven decisions that will essentially enable our districts and our teachers to produce and sustain high quality and equitable education for our students. That concludes my answer.
Thank you. B. Mora, same question. How will you address and prioritize budget allocation to ensure equitable funding across all school sites?
With funding, I'm not very familiar with exactly what percentage or what they base it on, but being on the LCAP, I know that programs are allocated, sorry, I can't think of the word, allocated depending on the priority of the programs, where the funding would be coming. If you say by school sites, depending on the needs and looking at the bargaining of the units, certificated and classified, where are their needs? We need to take into the consideration what programs need more funding, and you cannot actually set the funding according to which site needs it. It's a priority of where the students need it. And in my little experience with the LCAP, it was just depending on the programs needed and how the fundings would be allocated according to their priorities.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is going to be for Jacob Rodriguez. Something a little different. State of California requires a minimum reserve of 3%, and our board has adopted a policy of maintaining a reserve of 16%. Given the fact that our district has routinely maintained a reserve above 20%, what do you think should be done to improve the allocation of resources that will improve the educational outcomes of our student population?
Thank you for that very detailed question. I spoke with Dr. Parkins about that, like the reserve specifically, and although it's been nice to build up that cushion for rainy day, I think what the projections are looking like from the state legislature and the state budget is that those rainy days may be upon us. So I think we need to take a hard look at our, obviously, like layoffs is the worst case scenario that we're trying to avoid at all costs. So I think we might have to tap into that and reduce, obviously, to the minimum level that we're required by law to. And kind of to address the previous question, like, I think that the way that it currently is, where you have, for example, certain, we have a good balance. Like, I'm going to use the CTE course as an example. We have certain schools that offer one, it's not like one and the other school doesn't, which I think is the only realistic way for many of these things. I'm sure there's exceptions, but what I wanted to emphasize is that, you know, there's two types of funding where you can't use some of it on salaries, but you can. What I would propose, and this is like a general vision that is viable though, we're going to get very creative in terms of how we apportion like our categorical funding, because that can be used for salaries. So what I'm trying to say is we need how much can we put on the bill actually I got it backwards, I think it's the general fund, so that we can use the special funds for purposes that they can be used for. That's still confusing, but suffice to say, like, we're going to find creative funding options, and rest assured that I'm already considering like the option. But I think it is realistic that we will have like no disruption of operations or massive budget cuts if we dig into that and explore more creative funding solutions. But yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Piñato, same question. Given the routine collection of reserve above 20%, what do you think should be done to improve the allocation of resources to improve the educational outcomes of our students?
Thank you very much for that question. I think first and foremost, us as trustees, we need to be good stewards of the resources that we have as a community. I think our decisions need to be data-driven. I think we need to allocate resources to our schools where they're most needed. We really need to look at the data. For example, if we have a certain campus where we're seeing that more of our students are having issues with mental health, mental wellness, then maybe spruce up those services in that campus. I think it's important to have a good amount of reserves. Trustees, again, need to be good stewards of the resources. And also, if we have capital improvement projects, our funding for capital improvements cannot be used in other areas. It has to be used on those projects. For example, funds that have been allocated for the STEM building, for example, or for the pool that we're going to be building here on campus. All the improvements that have been done or are continuing to be done at Central High School. So I think our board has worked in close partnership with our teachers, with our district leadership to make sure that the budget is healthy and we're putting the resources where they're most needed in all our campuses.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll finish off the same question in this segment with Dini. So, do you need me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
Given that the district routinely maintains a reserve above 20% while the requirement is 3%, what do you think should be done to improve the allocation of resources to improve the educational outcomes of our student populations?
Well, I think we can remember when we're talking about budgets and financing here locally in our community that we are being elected by the people, and that the people, it's their money, and we need to use the money in the specific way that it's designed to be used, not find creative ways to pay other departments or other staff members or other special interests, and use the money directly what it's designed for. Creative ways, I think we need to look into these programs that are teaching kids that aren't necessarily looking to go to university, that need other skills to succeed in life after high school. Obviously the goal for all students is to get well educated, and if so be it goes to university, then that's a bonus, but not all kids are going to go to university. And we need to also prioritize our efforts and to make sure that those kids also are in positions to succeed in life after high school. But I think as far as the budgets are concerned, and we're talking about money, we still need to remember who hired us, who we're working for, and also work with the staff, also work with the teachers, and what's in the best interest for our schools, our students, and the success of our students after high school.
All right, thank you very much. For the final question in this segment, it'll be a 1-minute answer period for each candidate, and we'll start at the far end of the table and just work our way back over here. Okay, so this final question has to do with budgeting as well. Okay, the state has reported that we may have a $3 million reduction in ADA for the current year. Okay, and so the CEO of the district has proposed 3 plans for mitigating this shortfall. Plan number 1 is to increase class sizes and lay off employees. Number 2 would be to simply lay off employees. And number 3 would be to work collaboratively with employee groups to find areas to reduce spending. Which of these 3 seems the most viable and why? Ms. Pinado, you can begin. 1 minute.
So one of the focus, or the focus that's most important to our current board is to be student focused. And so when we make decisions as a board, we make the decisions that's best for students. So out of those 3, we want to see which one is going to have the less impact on students, what is going to be best for students. And I think that when you make decisions based on that lens, I think that you're going to make a good decision. And the thing is this, it's not just a decision with the board, it's with the leadership team, it's with the unions. We have to do this as a group, not in silos. So I think that's the most important thing when you're making these very difficult decisions for the school district.
Thank you. Jacob Rodriguez, same question.
So, briefly, my preferred approach would be the third one, but that's the approach is the one that's easier said than done. All I can say, because I can't, and you should, a politician never trusts a politician who makes promises like that you can promise, everything in the world. But rest assured that I'm committed to working with the unions, both classified and teachers, to make sure And what I mean by creative budget solutions, and I talked to Dr. Forks about this, and I find it a little sad, but I guess it's just to be expected for a district of our size. We don't have a grants manager. You know, there's reasons behind that, but I would love to explore philanthropy money because the state money it's pretty finite, and I find that very disturbing. But to answer the question, the third approach.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Mora, which approach is preferred by you?
You said plan 3, 2, and 1. I would choose plan 1. And I believe that finding what's best for our students, I can guarantee you that the 2 bargaining units have the best interests of our students at stake. Our students will always be number 1, and I can guarantee you that both will always keep that as number 1.
All right, thank you. Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Can you hear me? Okay. So, only thing I heard was layoffs. As a parent, no layoffs. And the method that I would use is a combination of a few of them, which is utilizing our professional relationships. You know, your board members do visit Washington, do advocate for you in Sacramento. And unfortunately, if we do go against state policy, we're going to get a knock on the door from state superintendent, get some threats on Gavin Newsom. We may even make the news. So with that said, our district, when I got here, was 17% the balance fund. And can a board member change this? No, we can't. But what we can do is we can educate the community, educate our parents, and encourage everyone to contact Garcia, Padilla, Congressman Reese. Strength is in the numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have Mr. Rodiles. You want to hear the 3 options again? Okay. Okay, the 3 options to mitigate the $3 million reduction in ADA funding are increase class sizes and lay off employees. Number 2 is lay off employees only. And number 3 is to work collaboratively with employee groups to find areas to reduce spending.
Well, we don't want to lay off people. I mean, we live in a high unemployment county in the first place. But I think what the best thing would be is to do what's best for the student and try to work with everybody. And I think we always have to look in the best interest of the student and what is going to be best for them. And try to avoid as many layoffs as possible. Thanks.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, we're going to move along to our second segment. Because of the frequency of school shootings and other incidences of violence, school and student safety is a top priority for the members of ACSTA and I think all employees of the district. So we have a new segment on policy. The first question is we're going to begin with Jacob Rodriguez. And the question is, what is your stance on the current school discipline policies in our district, and what changes, if any, would you propose to enhance student safety and well-being?
Thank you for that very important question, because I'm sure this is very pressing on the top of our minds right now, whether it be school shootings, stabbings, drugs overdoses, or heat-related deaths or other injuries. When you send your kid to school in the morning, there is a fair expectation that you want them to come back alive. That's obvious, and the teachers and the staff deserve to have a safe workplace.